Good morning. A little chilly outside, but we've got some good news here. My name is Charlie Beckham, and I'm Mayor Duggan's Group Executive for Neighborhoods, and I'll be your MC today. We've got a pretty full schedule and a lot of people to talk about this very exciting program. It's another good day for neighborhoods here in Detroit. Mayor Duggan rode into office on the concept of every neighborhood has a future, and this is just another exciting example of that particular entity happening. A few months back, we started a program with very similar to this, with Home Depot and Quicken Loans, with 30-some-odd homes throughout the neighborhood. It's been an outstanding success, and now we're glad to have the AFL CIO joining in that effort. And so without further ado, let me bring up the gentleman that has started all this talk about neighborhoods, Mayor Mike Duggan. Mr. Mayor.
Well, thank you. We are, as you know, we are working every day to bring the neighborhoods back. We have got beautiful vacant houses in this city that we can restore and move families into. And we've been auctioning them on our website. We have been partnering with Home Depot and Quicken to renovate them. And now we're partnering with the men and women of organized labor, the AFL CIO, to do the same. Last year I met with the heads of the AFL CIO Housing Investment Trust in Washington, D.C., and I want to thank Eric Price for his efforts because he's been relentless on this. And the AFL CIO has nationally invested in housing renovation. I said to him, why don't you come to Detroit? Bring those resources here. And they said, well, if we do it, what we want to do is create career opportunities. We want to expand apprenticeship programs, teach folks in Detroit how to repair these houses themselves, bring them into our unions, and now not only will we renovate the houses, but we will change lives. And so today, what you are seeing is basically the culmination of nearly a year's worth of conversation. We are asking City Council to transfer 25 properties to the AFL-CIO Housing Trust. We're going to try this on the first 25. Like so many things, we are trying things that haven't been done before. But we're going to transfer the first 25 properties. They're going to be responsible for rehabbing them and selling them. We're going to work out an arrangement where we share the upside and the downside, depending on how these costs work out, and we're targeting them in 4 neighborhoods. And when the first 25 are done, we're going to evaluate from there how the program is going, and if it's going well, we're just going to keep expanding it to more and more neighborhoods. And so if you look at the way we've put these programs together, we have taken down more than 7,000 houses in this city in the last 18 months that were not salvageable. But when we did that, we dramatically raised the value of the houses that are left. And the fact that the AFL-CIO is willing to come in here and help rebuild these neighborhoods, I couldn't be more pleased. And so I'm really anxious to be out there with the workers in the next few months on the first 25, and to Pat Devlin, Rick Blocker, and the other folks in the unions who are participating, thank you. And Eric, to everybody from your team, thank you so much for coming to Detroit.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We certainly couldn't do this kind of a program in the neighborhoods without our partners at City Council under the leadership of Council President Brenda Jones and, of course, Council President Pro Tem George Cushenberry, who's here today to give us some remarks. So, Mr. Pro Tem, come on up.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you all for being here. Of course, we're in the magnificent Northwest Activity Center, and it's apropos that we would begin to talk about a pre-apprentice program and a program that will open up the building trades. And we have been working on integrating the building trades for many, many years, and I think we ought to give the people from the labor movement who are here that are helping with this effort a big round of applause for all the work that they've done. And why Northwest Activity Center? This is one of the places where we have the model of every Detroiter that wants a job can get a job. And this will feed to it because this will be a pre-apprentice program using the assets of the city to help bring people in these good-paying trades jobs. And if I understand what my brothers and sisters in labor have told me, that over the next 4 years, there'll be over 100,000 of those jobs available for people. So now is the time to get people ready for it and to get them into the programs. If you come into Northwest Activity, and I hope the press noticed it, we have a one-stop shopping center where we brought the programs together. No longer does the Detroit Jobs Corporation do one thing, the state do another, and then another set of programs. They're all here. And you can come, you can be evaluated, and now we have a new tool that will give people the opportunity that are perhaps not quite there, don't understand the mathematics quite as well, don't know how to do the measuring quite as well, don't know the basics that they need, a new program that will give them the hands-on effort to repair. $35 million is no chump change. So we appreciate the investment that AFL CIO has made. Why don't we give them a big round of applause? That's a lot of money. Also, you ought to know that the reason it has to come to council is that we have a rule that if it's more than 10 or 12, and Erica will correct me if I'm wrong, if they're more than that number, I know I'm not too far, but 10. If it's more than 10, it has to come back to council so that we can make sure that there's no just wholesale giving away from the properties that belong to the people of the city. We're the largest landowner downtown and everywhere in the city, and we want to get out of that. People talk about all these other people that own all this property. We don't want to be the largest landowner. We'd rather turn it over to as many people as we can. A lot more exciting programs are coming. I've been excited about this one because this one will give us all of the pieces that we need. Some of the homes are right here around Northwest Activity Center, so you have a beautiful way to walk and come and get workouts and be in touch with the Blight Office and all the other programs that are available here. We want you to make sure that you stay with us as we continue this exciting new city, as we push toward the bounds of cooperation amongst all the actors and actresses in this great region to bring our city to even greater heights, because it's a great city now, but it's going to even greater heights. And I'm proud to represent the people of this neighborhood, and indeed, on behalf of the whole council, we say thank you to the AFL CIO.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem. You're absolutely right. We certainly couldn't do this without your support and partnership, and the mayor and all of us certainly thank your efforts there. We all know that AFL CIO is a national union organization, but it's the local leaders of metropolitan Detroit that really make things click here in Detroit, and so it's a pleasure now to bring up a gentleman who more than adequately has filled the big shoes of Tom Turner, who for years was the Metro Detroit president of AFL CIO. So Rick Blocker, who's been the District 14, Congressional 14th District Chairman, and also the president of the local Metropolitan Detroit AFL CIO. Rick, come on up.
Thank you so much. Is labor in the house? All right. We're so happy to be here today. As a lifelong Detroiter, I have seen some hard times, some real rough times in the neighborhood. I was a property owner. I've seen how a lot of renters came in, how the value started going down. But I'm so happy today that the AFL-CIO Housing Trust, along with the building trades and our other partners, have come together to make a difference in Detroit. This is a great time. We're totally committed to helping, to make sure that Detroit is the place where we all can be proud of. So I'm just here to say we're with you. Labor's in the house. We're going to be part of the future. We're going to do everything we can, and this is a great day in Detroit. Thank you.
Again, we're going to keep AFL CIO at the podium here, and heard the mayor talk about his meetings in Washington. And let me bring up Eric Price, who's with the Housing Investment Trust of AFL CIO. Eric?
Good morning, everyone. Before I talk a little bit about the commitment, I do want to thank the mayor personally. He talked about going to Washington, but actually I first got a phone call about 16 months ago from the chairman of the Housing Investment Trust, Dick Ravage. He had just taken a tour with the mayor, and he asked, "Are you doing any investments in Detroit?" And I said, "We haven't done any in a little while." And he said, "You need to come and check out what's going on." He said he felt there was really true leadership in the city, and he felt that there was an opportunity for us to think about how do we use our pension capital to support a lot of the things that the mayor and his team were trying to do. So I wanted to thank him personally for that. I also want to thank Councilmember Cushenberry as well. You can't really do this without both branches working together, particularly when you're talking about these kinds of initiatives. I worked in the government in Washington, D.C. When we came out of receivership, and it was very important for investors to know that the mayor and the council were working together. It gave a sense of stability to those investments, and it made it a market that was attractive to investors to come to. So I want to thank the council for all their support in this program as well. I'm here today just to say we're pleased to commit up to $30 million in the Detroit neighborhood home repair program. We view this as the first investment, hopefully, of many. We want to make this more than just this particular program, but we want to invest in new multifamily properties. We want to invest and work with the city in the preservation of affordable housing, on their housing stock, both city-owned housing stock as well as affordable housing throughout the city. That's all consistent with really the mission of the trust and who we are. While we are investing people's retirement monies, and our obligation, our first obligation, is to get a competitive return on those monies, we also want to do other things with that. We want to take that money and use it so that your retirement money is actually helping to provide homes for you, your family, and the family of those friends of your families. We also want to make sure that there are job opportunities for people for residents in the city, and that they receive wages that allows them to live in their homes and live in their city and in their neighborhoods. And then I think the last thing is really that whatever we're doing ultimately is going to be revitalizing these communities in the cities that we live in. None of this is possible. Those objectives, competitive returns, affordable housing, creating job opportunities, none of that's possible unless you have a public-private partnership. That's the only way it works. You have to have a good team to put together, and we think there is a good team here to accomplish and meet these goals that we've set for us today. The city has been fantastic. The Department of Housing and Revitalization and the Land Bank, I can't say enough about Erica and Arthur Jemison. Both of them they have told us what they need, we have told them what we need, and we've gone a long way over the last 12 months on helping to structure and put things together. The private sector partners, Southwest Housing Solutions, Jenkins Construction, Talmer Bank, have been great partners. We knew that we had to find people who were vested and committed in their communities, who have done work in their communities, that those were the kind of partners we wanted to be at the table with in order to help try to revitalize neighborhoods in Detroit. And the last thing, and I'll get off and let others speak, is the building trades and the AFL CIO. The leadership of the AFL CIO from Washington to here have all been 100% behind this program. We have briefed the international presidents, the president of the AFL CIO, Richie Trumpka. We get called in for briefings asking what are we doing in Detroit, but there's been unanimous support for what we're trying to do, and I wanted to give special thanks to Pat Devlin and Don O'Connell. They, from the very beginning, like the mayor's leadership, we have to have the building trades leadership when we make investments. When we invest, the first call we make is to the building trades, and we made that call, and they said this is the place to come to, and this is the investment to make. So thank you.
Thank you, Eric. When you do programs like this, there's certainly many aspects, a lot of partnerships. The mayor has often said, we have an unbelievably high-quality housing stock here in Detroit, that every house that's been abandoned doesn't need to be, nor should it be, torn down and demolished. it means rehab. And of course, what that means is the opportunity for jobs. We heard the councilman talk about that, and it's going to take a good partnership with the Michigan Building Trades Council. We're looking forward to that. This is going to create a number of jobs for young Detroiters and folks in the construction industry. So we look forward to that aspect. And to talk about that a little bit more is Pat Devlin, who's with the Michigan Building Trades Council.
Thank you. I just want to, on behalf of the Michigan Building Trades and its affiliates, and I'd like to acknowledge carpenters, the electricians, the painters, plumbers, operators. Thank you. Bricklayers are also here. Thank you very much, and the commitment that they stand behind this. You know, the building trades have always been committed to City of Detroit, and the opportunities that are going to come about, similar to what we just came through this summer on some programs that we had going, especially the Board Up program that just come to an end October. We're hoping to blend a lot of those candidates into this program. The one thing that we're going to guarantee out of this is we're going to have the stamp of the skilled trades, men and women from the building trades, putting their mark on these homes. They're going to be the best refurbished homes in Detroit. And the opportunities that are going to open up for our young men and women out there are going to be great, because we, like every other industry, are going to be suffering that the baby boomer situation. We're going to need a lot of good, talented people. I want to acknowledge the partnership that we have with Mr. Jenkins and the fine work him and his team has done in working this out. And I think it's going to be a smooth transition going into that. I want to acknowledge the great program that we have in the Access for All that has put close to 30, almost 40 candidates through. All have been put to work and are working in good paying positions. So I want to thank also Mayor Duggan. He was the one that accomplished something that I haven't been able to do in a while, and that is to get the AFL CIO Housing Investment Trust in Detroit. It's always nice reading about those programs. Yep. It's always nice reading about those investments in Florida and Chicago, but we need to get more here. Again, I want to thank Eric Price, who's been diligent, and his whole team on getting us to today, and the whole team. I want to thank you. Thank you again on behalf of the Building Trades.
Thanks, Pat. This next gentleman that's coming up to the podium is a longtime friend of mine, and I remember some 30-some-odd years ago when he was the purchasing director for the local office of Turner Construction Company. Since that time, he's grown into being one of the, not only the top African-American general contractors in town, but a top general contractor here in Detroit. And Mr. Mayor, as you know, he also has a reputation, not only for being a good general contractor, but throwing one of the best Christmas parties that ever gets thrown. Anybody that's ever been to a Jim Jenkins Christmas party, you want to come back every year, and he's doing another one again this year. But without further ado, let me bring up Jim Jenkins, Jenkins Construction.
Thank you, Charlie. I really don't want to be noted for the Christmas party. I want to be noted for my fine work as construction. I'm Jim Jenkins, owner of Jenkins Construction. I want to say thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Pro Tem Cushionberry, and for all those people here that allow us to go into our neighborhood. I've always said, when you create a neighborhood or you come back and redo a neighborhood, you create a better place for the families. And without families, and with families, you have structure. You have kids that grow up to be good citizens. That is so important to me because we have some lovely homes in this area you'll never be able to replace. One of the areas we're going to concentrate first is in the Bagley area. Some of those homes, if you drive through there, a lot of the homes just need to be, they're one or two in the block that need to be refurbished. And once you do that, the price of that whole block goes up. So we're going to raise the standard and the cost of these houses just because we have come into these communities and made a difference in what these houses and these neighborhoods look like. When we do that, Everybody's gonna be so proud. When we pick out these homes and find out which ones, I challenge you to go by and take pictures or photos of these homes and then come back some months later after we finish the homes. It's gonna be our pleasure to show you the difference of what these union tradesmen can do in homes, because we all think they all gotta do commercial, industrial projects. We're gonna make a difference. We're gonna create jobs. Now, we want to question about how many jobs. Right now, I did the math, approximately 300 jobs we're going to create, but that 300 going to turn over and over again because it may grow up a lot higher, and it's going to grow up a lot higher once we get people in the apprenticeship program and we graduate them into the journeyman when they move on. So it's our pleasure to go and team up with our team members to make this happen. The quality of the houses. We're gonna make a difference to the point where the houses are gonna look, some of them we're gonna do new kitchens, we're gonna have new furnaces, some of them require new roofs. And when I say new furnaces, I'm talking about 90%, I'm talking about quality and quality on everything we do. Some of them may even have, hard surfaces and granite. Some of these homes, you cannot replace these fireplaces. So we're gonna redo the fireplaces. And we're gonna make them look like the homes that they were. So we look forward to it. Also, some of these apprentices, some of these young people that we bring on board, they're gonna have a second chance. Because some of them have not got into the apprenticeship program because they have not been able to before, by obvious reasons. So here's an opportunity for them to be in the pre-apprenticeship program or into an apprenticeship program. And when they get in there, we're gonna stay with them. We're not gonna let them go. We're going to make them go into the journeyman, because one of the things you can do, you can get into the apprenticeship program, but sometimes you have to stay with them in order to get through the journeys to become journeymen. We're going to work with the unions, and the union's going to work with us. And when we do this, we're going to make a difference. We're going to create jobs again, like I said, and it can be better for all of us. So we're going to bring the neighborhood, and so I want to leave you with 3 words. In the neighborhood, 3 statements. In the neighborhood, in the neighborhood, in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. These neighborhoods that Jim talks about, of course, are made up of a number of hardworking citizens who take pride in their property and their neighborhoods, and they create strong neighborhood associations, and that's who we work with on a daily basis through our Department of Neighborhoods here in District 2. Kim Tandy, who's the District 2 manager. Kim, stand up. Sean Davis. Sean around. Several of the communities that are being targeted for this program are here in District 2. Crary St. Mary's, the Bagley and Schultz, and on the east side we're going to be in East English Village. And so the people that work behind the scenes that run these associations are very important drivers of what we do here in the neighborhoods. And so to come up and speak on behalf of the Bagley Community Council is, let me get her name straight, Mamie Merritt. Mamie, come on up.
Fine, and you? Bagley was created in 1961, the community council was. I've only been here like 44 years as a resident. Didn't quite make the 60s. But our homes are brick and mortar homes, like it was mentioned. They can't be replaced today. So we want to keep our homes. We want people to move in and own our homes. We are so happy that there is focus on Bagley now with this rehabbing of our homes. The city, the skilled trades, the unions, all coming together and working together. We appreciate that. And we hope to have great success with this program. Thank you.